Jennifer to the Rescue. I'm Jennifer Johnson, and we're so happy that you decided to join us this week. Have a great guest, and I'll introduce her in just a minute. We are going to thank our sponsors, Logan Street Signs and Banners, for having us in every week. We're here at the Wofford Theater, which you have to come and check out. I can't tell you how cool it is. You just have to come and check it out for yourself. I am able to be found at jennifertotherescue.com, and I'm in a never-ending quest to be your trusted collaborative resource. I have expanded my vision a little bit bigger for Jennifer to the Rescue. So with that said, I'm very excited to introduce my guest today is Shelley Haymaker.
Good afternoon.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
You're welcome. Glad to have you. And you know, this stuff kind of gets kind of like I'm going to be sitting here going kind of glazed out because I keep finding out there's all these wonderful programs like the Guardian Ad Litem program. And,
correct.
Yes. That I just had no idea what all is involved, and you are the director. But can you tell us a little bit before we go into, do you shorten it up by saying gal?
We do.
I can
Yes.
use that, right? Before we talk about the gal program, tell us a little bit about you. You are an attorney.
I am. I'm an attorney. I've practiced in this county since 1997. Well, actually, I opened my own practice in 1997. I graduated in 1994. And then this program, the Hamilton County GAL CASA program, was established in 1998, and in 2001 I took over as the director of the program here in the county.
So you've lived, okay, so I can't, when people say 1990, that just sounds like yesterday. I know that it was a long time ago, really.
Seems like a long time ago.
Yes. But have you
yes.
been a Hoosier all your life? Have you lived, you obviously have practiced law here for a while. But
Yes, and I grew up, mainly I went to school here in Hamilton County, so I'm from here. I went to law school down in Bloomington, but then when I graduated law school, I came back here.
Cool. So so you've been kind of a Hoosier. You have it in your blood. You've been in Hamilton County, and
Yes.
this opportunity kind of presented itself, I guess.
To get into the program, it did. It was brand new, like I said, in 1998, and I just kind of approached the director at the time and said, how do I get involved with your program? And she sent me my first case, and then out of the blue, and at the end of 2000, she contacted me about then becoming the director. So yes, it just kind of fell.
It sometimes does, doesn't it?
Yes.
Sometimes when you just want to know some more information, you end up somehow, but you're obviously doing a lot of work, and it's a very dedicated kind of position. You have to really love what you're doing, right?
Well, I think to stay in it for this long, yes, I would think that you have to.
So, yeah, go ahead.
Well, for our program, just so that the audience understands what a GAL or a Guardian Ad Litem.
Yeah, what is it?
The GAL stands for Guardian Ad Litem, and I believe that's up on the screen, and a CASA stands for a Court-Appointed Special Advocate. And both of those terms are pretty synonymous these days, but they both describe a child advocate or an advocate in the court system. So that's what we are. And then Hamilton County has a program. Several of our counties within the state have programs, and then these types of programs then are in every state.
Okay, I try to listen, and then I get these ideas in my head, and I'm thinking, am I paying attention? So every court, every case, every child that you're representing, or someone, a volunteer, because we've got, okay, this happens when a child's, it's going to be when a child is involved in a case, right?
Typically,
okay.
We have various sections to our program.
Okay, so.
But
okay.
the section that we're going to talk about today deals with children that are involved in the court system through allegations of abuse or neglect.
Okay.
So those are the types of children that we are dealing with today through our talk. And that's what our program trains people from the community to be the voice for the child in court, and to come in and advocate for the child and look out for the child's best interest. And the concept was born a long time ago by a judge in the state of Washington, and he looked out into the courtroom and saw that everybody else was represented except for the child. And he wasn't wanting necessarily legal representation for the child because he knew, what the laws were and he knew what needed to be done legally. What he wanted was practical representation for the child. And by practical, he wanted somebody from the community who lived in the community, was probably raised there, who bore children, raised their children there. Somebody from the community to come in and advocate for the child. And he didn't want a lawyer to do that, so he wanted lay people. We call those lay people. He was interested in the child's practical needs. For instance, where does the child live? Where does the child go to school? Does the child have a bedroom? Is there a bed in the bedroom? How is the child fed and dressed? And what medical or behavioral issues are happening for the child? What needs does the child have? He wanted somebody in the community to look into all of that, go out and see that, go places that the judge could not go, and that nobody else in the courtroom was going to. So that's what he envisioned when he came up with the term court-appointed special advocate, all right, long time ago. And so he wants to know, what can we do in the community? And that's what we look for here. What resources are in our community, and what can the community do to kind of help support the child and look into the child's best interest and help support the child and the family so that the family can get help and then hopefully not come back into the court system. So that's how all of this started.
Wow.
So,
and
there's several types of programs, like we said. I mean, they're in several counties here in our state. They're in every state that we have. So we have a national CASA, we have a state CASA, Gal CASA office that are over me, and so. Our program, though, here in Hamilton County, we look at our program, it's a court-ran program, and all of that really means is that the majority of our funding comes from the tax base here in Hamilton County, and then it also means that the judges oversee. They oversee the program, they oversee me as the director, they make sure that we're doing what we're supposed to be doing. So that's how our program here works.
Wow. Can you tell them how they would, and somebody who would be getting a hold of you is, we're going to talk to a volunteer here in the next segment, but somebody who would, because the court would know if there was the need, right?
Right, because the only way that we even get involved is there has to be a case opened in the court. I get a lot of phone calls from people or a lot of emails, and they want a child advocate for their child or their grandchild, their niece, their nephew, and unless there's a court case, we have no vehicle to get involved in the case. So we can't just say, okay, well, we'll send you out an advocate, all right? There has to be a court case opened. And for every case that's opened for a child that's alleged to be abused or neglected, our legislatures passed a law back in 2005 that said every time we have one of those cases opened, we want to have a guardian ad litem CASA on the case. It's just another set of eyes and ears that makes sure that the child is being watched over and reviewed in addition to the Department of Child Services. So our legislatures found it very important to have, where they even passed a law, to make sure that we were involved in every case.
And like we said, we're going to come back from break, and we're going to have one of your dedicated volunteers with us.
Yes,
we are. I don't want people to not tune into the next segment, but you're saying that at this moment, there's 27 kids out there that are on a waiting list.
In our county, yes, right now.
Shelley, why don't you give them real quick your email and how to get a hold of you, and then we'll take a short break and come back.
All right. My phone number, I'll start with phone number, is 317-776-0480. And my email is atttyshell@att.net. Those are the easiest ways to get a hold of us. You just either leave us a message or send me an email that you're interested. We will send you, then we will put you on a list, and we will send you the dates and times that the next training is scheduled. You can then go through the schedule and decide if you want to come through training and be part of the program.
We will be right back, and we're going to have another guest join us who's one of your dedicated volunteers.
Okay.
So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
When Margaret and I decided to sell the old estate here, we had only one choice in signage: Logan Street signs and banners. conveniently not located on Logan Street anymore, but rather located on 10th Street on the south side of Noblesville. Well, we sold the old beauty, and we were able to buy this wonderful estate. And we had so much money left over, I was able to buy this beautiful 1968 Eldorado Cadillac for Margaret. Only 472,000 miles. Margaret loves it because it's got those big seats and that heavy-duty suspension to support her svelte frame. Next time you're looking for signs or banners, call old Jim at Logan Street Signs and Banners, 773-7200. Conveniently not located on Logan Street anymore.
Everyone knows it's easy to find first-run movies in the big theaters. But where can you go to watch your favorite classic movies on the big screen for the perfect night out? Why rent a flick when you can rent the entire theater? Call today to reserve our 32-seat theater for your next event, or just stop by to see what's showing this weekend. The 14 by 7 foot screen and the high quality digital surround sound system offers all the amenities you would expect from the big theaters, with a laid back atmosphere and comfortable seating of your own home. Wofford Theater at 1744 South 10th Street in Noblesville gives you the classic movies you want with a big theater experience.
Well, we're back. The time just flies on our break, and we're back into our second segment here at Jennifer to the Rescue. Thank you to Logan Street Signs and Banners for having us in, and we're here at the Wofford Theater. Shelley Haymaker, the Guardian Ad Litem Director. Is that okay?
That's fair.
Okay. It's better than I was a couple weeks ago. I'm still learning this. But you are the director, but we've been very glad to have Chuck Gross.
Yes.
I knew that. I wrote it down. One of your dedicated volunteers over here, and I'm just going to let you take it away and find out what
right.
makes a great volunteer. We know that you're a great one. So.
Well, he actually is a very great one, and so is his wife Vivian. So we'll give her kudos while
Hey,
we're on
Vivian.
air. How's
Good
that?
job.
2 thumbs up.
All right.
Two
All
thumbs up.
right. So Chuck, just tell us how you became involved, how you heard about our program.
Heard about your program through an article in the Indy Star that really related to Marion County. And my wife wanted to get involved. She said, this sounds like something I need to get involved with, helping kids. And
So we have her to blame.
Yeah.
Yes, we just gave her a thumbs up.
So this is in the middle of winter time. It's downtown Indy. I said, I'll drive you down there, dear. Long story short, went down there, and at the end of it, driving back, I said, you know what? I think I'd like to get involved in this. This could be something of significance. And so that's how we heard about it. And then we discovered that Hamilton County had its own program. And we said, well, let's work in our own community and make a difference there. So we followed up like you just provided direction to do. We emailed you, called you, you drug us through that, you walked us through the educational
Gently educated
process.
you.
Skipped
Yes.
through it together.
Yes. And it is very thorough and very effective. And thank you for that.
Well, thank you. And I think that that's important information as far as a lot of people don't understand that Hamilton County has a program to advocate for children in the court. And so a lot of people are hearing about these programs through the Indianapolis Star or other media, and they need to understand that we have a program here in Hamilton County. So
It's a program it's really amazing. We were transplanting here because of grandkids. Why move from Los Angeles to Hamilton County? We had a set of grandkids here that we wanted to be closer to. So when we landed here, we needed to get involved. We needed to wrap our hands around something of significance. And of all the opportunities to volunteer, we settled on the Guardian Ad Litem program as one of several options, simply because we felt we could really make an immediate, long-lasting impact on the lives of not only the children, but the families too, but primarily the kids. So we selected the Guardian Ad Litem program because we thought It was something that was in our comfort zone. Actually, it wasn't. It was really outside.
I was gonna
of my
say, you weren't real
comfort zone.
comfortable there for a while.
No. Corporate America, briefcase, driving by, brokenness and poverty, never even recognizing it until we got involved in the Guardian Ad Litem program, began to get educated about the needs of the communities, specifically even here in Hamilton County, to recognize that we have brokenness here, families that are a train wreck. And the kids are the consequence of that. So to be able to step into that space and begin to represent them back to the court under the very qualified supervision of an attorney really makes us feel like we're doing something that is truly significant.
Well, and I think that's one of the unique parts about the Hamilton County program is that we do have an attorney that is assigned to every single volunteer.
Oh.
So they're never walking into court not knowing where to sit, not knowing when to speak, and not knowing how to get their information to the judge. They are all represented by an attorney. We have 2 attorneys that are on staff that specifically are assigned to all the volunteers for abuse and neglected children. And so I think that helps make our program
Tremendous help.
unique.
Yeah, it's a tremendous help.
So you went through the training about 6 years ago, right?
That's correct.
And the training, just so you know,
Good snacks. Good snacks at the training.
yes, we bring lots of snacks, except for lemon bars. I won't let you do this, but but the training consists of, to become a volunteer, it's 32 hours of training, which we typically do weekday evenings. About 3 weeks total is how long it takes to get through all of those hours. And during that training, then we have various people who come in from Department of Child Services, from probation, from the courts. We have the magistrate who hears most of our cases talk to the group. We have various attorneys come in and train, various volunteers come in and train during the 32-hour span. So it goes pretty quickly, right?
It does. It's very
It's
fast.
probably
And
very
good snacks.
interesting
Yeah.
too.
So, and what we're trying to do is train these volunteers that know nothing about what we do, because most people have no idea what a guardian ad litem or a CASA is. But we're training them so that they understand what it is we do and what the court system is like, right?
Yeah, the training is very good.
So for you, when you got involved, you got your first case, and just so that people who might be interested in this know, what did you do? What did you
Panic?
have to do?
Yeah, just-
After the panic
After
was
the
done.
Okay. After the panic, we referred back to our notes and just began to follow what we had learned in the training. And we met the kids involved, met the parents involved. Sometimes it involved going to the schools, meeting the teachers, participating in the special education programs that are set up for kids that are in need, and just began to lay out a game plan to understand what the needs of these kids truly are and represent them back to the court when that time came. So what I liked about it is Shelley provides great training, but then after that, she's not micromanaging. We are really left up to our own skills, our own mental capacity, as limited as you think that might be, to really determine what we need to find out so that we can truly represent these kids back in court, because we're going to be the only ones speaking for them. As Shelley said, the attorneys are speaking for mom, the attorneys are speaking for dad, and it's us representing those kids that really need to be heard.
And we work a lot with the Department of Child Services because they represent, obviously, they're the agency that have gotten involved. When there's abuse and neglect that comes along, then Department of Child Services is involved. So there's always a caseworker, there are always people there that we also deal with. And their job is also, I mean, that's their whole goal, is to protect the child involved. Our job is to kind of come along with them and also provide insight to the court, also provide our own independent recommendations to the court. Department of Child Services might be recommending one thing and we might come along and say, yes, that's great, but we think we should add this, or we don't necessarily think it's necessary. We all make recommendations. We don't make the decision, that's what the judge is for, but we at least have the opportunity to come along and make recommendations.
And you're going into the schools and being right
Yes.
there, a lot of these other people aren't getting that,
Yes.
right? So
Yes.
that is why your role is so important.
Yes.
Shelley, before we go to break again, can't
I know.
believe it. Before we go to break again,
Stay here.
Chuck, thank you for all your information, and we're not dismissing you or anything. But
No, we're keeping him, I
we're
think,
gonna
for the
keep
next
him.
segment.
I think we need to. Yeah, I love the orange. But can you also give us how they contact you again, Shelley? Just
okay.
keep them. We want to keep them in the loop here. So.
All right, so phone number is 317-776-0480, and the email is attyshell@att.net.
And they could just put GAL, G-A-L, in the subject.
Oh, yes,
They can
that's
put
fine.
yes, and she'll get you connected. We'll be right back. Don't leave. We've got more to talk about. Thank you. Well, this day is just flying by, and I'm Jennifer Johnson. I'm Jennifer to the Rescue, and my goal is to be your trusted collaborative resource. And what does that mean? Well, I bring you wonderful people that talk about wonderful programs that you may not have even known were out there. You can check out Jennifer to the Rescue. You can always, and that's jennifertotherescue.com. You can always call me at 317-513-6823, and I'll be happy to chat with you. We are here at the beautiful Wofford Theater, and it really is. You have to come and check it out. And thank you to Logan Street Signs and Banners for having us in. We've got a couple things to talk about at the very end, but we want to get back. Talk to Shelley Haymaker and her wonderful volunteer, the director of the Guardian Ad Litem program here in Hamilton County. And then Chuck Gross, who's one of her her very dedicated, I don't know where that maybe was coming from, volunteers.
It's a daily thing. It's really-
Maybe, who's been doing work for the program for 6 years.
6 years.
You thought it was 4. Time has just flown by. So Shelley, take it away.
Well, and you know, you're one of, we have approximately 50-some volunteers
goodness.
that are available. But as far as active volunteers, we only have about 35 right now who are actively involved in a case in the system at the moment. And to give you some sort of an idea, in 2015, we carried over 134 children that had cases that were open. All right, so we brought those kids in, still advocating for those children, still following up with those children, and still appearing in court for them. And then so far in 2015, we've had approximately 60 new children who have entered our system, who've come along and had cases filed and that we've had to have volunteers for. And then the unfortunate reality is we have approximately 27 children who do not have a volunteer that is assigned to them. We have an attorney that monitors the case for them, that talks to people, but we don't have the volunteer for them that can go out and do all the hands-on work that we need to have done on behalf of the child. So that's why we need new volunteers. We're always needing volunteers. I mean, the definition, I mean, I laugh because it's almost like a revolving door. You know, you have volunteers come, but by definition, you know, when life happens, typically it's the volunteer work that has to go first, and they have to concentrate on their work or their family or their health. And so because that happens, then we have kids then who need new volunteers or need a volunteer to begin with. And our goal is to have the same volunteer throughout the entire way of the case, whether the case lasts 4 months or whether it lasts 18 months, 2 years, or whatever. We would really, our goal is to have the same volunteer, because, you know, there may be various caseworkers from child protection that come and go in their life. They may have various counselors, but we'd like to have this one advocate for them if we can.
If you can.
So
I would assume that's very difficult
Yeah.
to do.
So, Chuck, with you being involved with us for about 6 years, I mean, let the audience know about how many cases you have worked over that time period.
I've had 6 cases, and they've ranged from children that were newborns up to, right now I have a case with a 14-year-old girl and her younger brother. So my cases have involved younger children, but the needs are the same, and they'll be more specific to the age. Of course, a toddler's needs are different than a 14-year-old, but wide variety of cases. No two are alike, which is very interesting and stimulating, and no family mess is alike. So you get a lot of challenge, you get a lot of stimulation, and you get a lot of opportunity to make a difference in the lives of kids.
Because what we're doing during the time that we're talking to people or going out and seeing the child, making sure the child's stable, at the same time the parents, you know, who've come into the system and the children have had to come along with them, the whole goal is to try to get help for the parents. So if there's a drug issue or an alcohol issue, then the Department of Child Services is trying to get them services to help them with those, so that then they can get a hold of whatever, you know, whatever issue that they're fighting, whatever issue led to the court system getting involved and their children possibly being taken away from them, trying to get them help. So they're working on themselves during this whole time, while the advocate is paying attention to the child and making sure that the child's needs are being met while parents are working on their issues. So that's the importance, I think.
Yeah, all those ingredients that you mentioned there really allows us to be part of a big team, including DCS. And we're all working towards the same goal. Hopefully it's reunification, to get the kids back into a safe, stable environment with their parents. Sometimes that is not always the best option for them, and the judge, of course, makes that decision. But as part of that team, you get to make those recommendations and contribute.
And 6 cases in, six
six.
cases in 6 years.
Yeah.
You get to really know and really be part of that family and understand, maybe
Yeah.
not understand
Oh, you-
it all, but
You try to understand.
you try to understand.
That's right.
Well, we thank you for all that you're doing. Did you have anything else you wanted to?
Well, I just want to talk, I know we talked about, I can't remember, but we'll review it if we've already
go
said this.
ahead.
How's that?
Go
All
ahead,
right,
that'd
so
be
to
great.
come through the training, you have to be
Oh,
at least 21
yes.
years of age. You will have to submit to various criminal and child protection backgrounds on yourself. You have to complete the 32-hour training. When we send you the schedule, that is not optional. You don't get to pick your days of when you want to come and what nights you want to come to. Those are cumulative. You need to come to all of them. And then you need to be committed to the child. Once you're assigned, like I said, our goal is that you meet the child, and at the end, when their case is dismissed, however it's dismissed, whether it's being returned to the parents, whether it's being placed into guardianship with somebody else, or somebody's adopting the child, you're there at the very end as well. So that's our goal.
Well, we thank you very much for coming today and sharing your stories, and we'll
Thank
see you
you.
again in a couple months. It went really fast, didn't it? And I just would leave you with, I always try to leave with an upbeat, but I'm going to first share, we have Hamilton Harvest Food Bank is going to be doing a food drive here at Hamilton, or at the Wofford Theater, Logan Street Signs and Banners, and that is on Saturday, August 15th from 9 to 1, and we're hoping that you will keep that in the back of your, or write it down on your calendar and bring some non-perishable goods. I think it's the regular stuff that you could take to a pantry, because Hamilton Harvest Food Bank actually supplies all the food pantries in Hamilton County, and there are a lot of them. So we would like to make sure you know about that. Always try to leave with an upbeat. I'm a musician, so I don't like to leave with a downbeat. I don't want to be, if you're always going to, this is Maya Angelou, I just love what she says. If you're always trying to be normal, you'll never know how amazing you can be. Just think, if Chuck and his wife had not decided to go above the normal and just, invest. You were looking at a lot of different options, and
Sure.
you chose this. What great thing that you're sitting there choosing what, some of us just can only keep up with what we're doing, but what a great thing you've done.
Thank you.
And great thing you're doing. And we'll look forward to seeing you all again next week, but we'll see them in a couple months and catch up on what's going on with the GAL program. But if you're interested, one more time, Shelley, tell them how to get you. I really want to make sure. We've gone well over time. Go
All right,
ahead.
317-776-0480 or attyshell@att.net.
Awesome. Have a great week, and we'll see you next time on Jennifer to the Rescue.